And this is the list of the members currently who are taking care of the research collaborative committee. It constitutes of Dean, Sub-Dean, and Professor in charge medical nutrition and the other members of the faculty. And I've just included a paragraph on why collaboration, because currently scientific community worldwide is facing a need for the interinstitutional collaboration in science and technology. And such collaboration is needed because research in these areas addresses a wide range of questions which may not be available, we may not be able to do it at a single center. So we need input from other institution expertise from other places. So these collaborations are often based on large interdisciplinary projects where different scientists contribute to the research findings with their complementary expertise. And research thereby improves, and we get better qualification, we get better patents, and we may have better publications. So the aim of our committee is to ensure that the collaborations are driven by scientific considerations only, and to support inter-institute collaboration at national and international level. When I say to ensure that collaboration is driven by scientific considerations, I will come later on that it should not be money driven only, that we get good grant from another company, from a private drug company or anywhere. So we feel that it will bring us a lot of money, but there is no research question. So the committee also has developed framework of collaboration by putting in place procedures and mechanisms, which I will be showing later on, that allow them to extend their support to researchers involved in collaboration. So the another aim is to safeguard, like Dr. Ashita said, the intellectual property rights of the investigation from PGI, and also to ensure that the ethical practices which are approved by institutional ethics committee are maintained by the collaborating partners. So what are the rules, the criteria for the successful collaboration? First of all, that a committee looks at that you are entering a collaboration because of a shared passion for the science, that the research question that you are asking in a collaborative research project is not driven by only monetary consideration or just because somebody very big is involved, but whether it is relevant to the question which the investigator of PGI is also interested in. Also, we take time to consider all aspects of the potential collaboration, such as will this collaboration really make a difference in a particular research which is being put forward by the investigator? Does the expertise which is required to tackle the proposed task is available in the PGI or not? And whether if a person is committing to this collaboration, does he have or she has enough time to frame work for this work, and will they be able to deliver things? If the other people are collaborating with us and they are committing to us, will they be able to deliver on time? And can we trust the collaborators with our data, protocols, etc.? So that trust has to be there. And then we have to, before we go for collaboration, we have to list and identify and delegate the tasks to the different collaborators, which will be more, clear when I show you the performance that we have made over, which has to be filled by everybody, where there is the identification and delegation of tasks and memo of understanding about who is responsible for that task. And we have to be clear of the credits for intellectual property rights with our collaborators, and we may have to sign with MOU where we have not signed MOU with other institutions. And we also discuss in detail expectations for authorship early in the work, and also discuss the timeline and the order of authors on the final published paper, because these things crop up later and they create a lot of heartburn and misunderstanding. So I'm sorry, this is not, can we enlarge it? No? So this is a performer which has been given. I will be showing you in parts also, where what are the things, and this is available on with the medical education cell, and we have to, in fact, I have submitted another. So basically, this I have been split up and just give you an example. So this is supplied by the medical education cell. This performer is available there. So what we need over there is the title of the project. I've just given somebody which has been submitted by Dr. Vikas Gautam, which I thought was very well done. So to give the title of the project, name and designation of the internal investigator from PGI, then name and designation of the external investigator outside PGI, and then we have to tell them that who is the principal investigator among the two, the outside or the PGI. So here Dr. Vikas Gautam was the internal investigator, And then we have to specify the type of material to be used from the PGI or facility to be extended. For example, patients report, patient themselves, patient's relative, PGI staff, or what kind of patient sample we are going to use. So, for example, Dr. Vikas was going to use BAPIC mice and the number of mice which was planning to use. And here the role of institutional animal ethics committees for using mice. So we need to have a clearance. So we'll come over there. Then we have to specify the role of the internal investigator, that is from the PGI. What kind of collaboration is he looking, what is his role in this whole proposal. So whether he's going to provide only professional guidance or expertise, or will he be carrying out the study here and taking the same thing from the external investigator. So the next is specify the role of the external investigator, professional guidance, and the next is the total for how long the project is here and what is the major aim of the project, whether it is a social survey or it's a biochemical or biophysical investigation or it is therapeutic or clinical trial or any other. So he has just listed over here. And then if it is between the two institutions, so this is again showing that the way he has built up the performer, that just showing you that. And then we also need these following documents: certificate from the head of the division, department, institute in PGI extending the necessary facilities for the project, certificate from the head of the department, institute outside PGI who are collaborating, extending necessary facilities for the project. These have been included so that we know that the project is smoothly running and all the resources and the facilities will be available to conduct the project properly. Then a certificate from the concerned department in PGI that to the effect that all the facilities or expertise or required staff does not exist in the PGI. So many times, many people want to collaborate, whereas the same facilities are also available in the PGI. So if those facilities are available, then I think we should be taking help of the PGI people first rather than going outside, so that the collaboration is justified. And then we need a certificate from the medical ethics committee if applicable to the project. And then we also need the approval of the institute ethical committee and other ethical committees. So this is, and if we need to have an memorandum of understanding, so this performer is also available with the medical education center, which has to be filled. So these are various criteria which are given and which has to be duly filled and which has to be signed both by the PGI institute and by the other external institute from where this is coming. So, and this is just the, I'm showing you a field performer that it has to be signed both by the PGI and the participating institute. So this in nutshell is there, and I will be ready to answer any questions. Where we do not have a MOU with the other institutions. So there we need to have a MOA. Because this MOA, I have not shown you, but it is available because this MOA also lists that who is going to be the author, who is going to be the principal, or the series in which sequence the authorship will come, and whether if there is a patent coming out, whether we write equal IPR rights. So this memorandum of agreement includes all those things which are not there in the proforma. We should have it, yes. Because it protects our rights. And it makes things very clear so that you do not have misunderstandings later on. And these are being, I looked at the internet also, and I went to like Cubes Institute, which is very big, and also some of the European institutes which have their internal institute collaborative committees. So they have also something similar where they also want that we should have this clarification right in the beginning before the later. Yeah. as long as it does not involve transferring information from PGI. At personal level, if you help with somebody with analysis of data or something, but you should not be sharing your own data with them. Okay, so if you are just doing some experiment because you know how to do those experiments, you go to their lab or they come and learn something from your lab, that is not a collaboration. Collaboration where you have a joint research project, which you will be coming, you will be sharing your data with each other, and then joint publication will be coming out. So where either you are using their info data or you are providing your data or your expertise, and you are coming, you have a joint research. But if there are some techniques which probably IMTech is better suited or PGI is better suited, but as long as no personal information is being disclosed, I don't think you need to have collaboration committees. Yeah? But otherwise, Dr. Tavla or Dr. Ashika or because there are no written guidelines given to us, so we have to probably frame. This is a good question. We can look it up later on. Yeah, I will note it down.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, my question is that is there any provision for the private institutes, any collaboration with the private institute instead of the government institute? Like PGI is a government, and if we want a collaboration with the private institute, is it?
There is no restriction to that, but then you have to justify that why you want to do with the private. It's not just that the private institution is getting some mileage out of putting PGI's name. So if the research question is genuine and there is a expertise which is available with them which we do not have, so the collaborative committee will not discriminate between a government institution or a private institution. Well, that is absolutely different. They are absolutely different. Those are the DBT projects we submit. So they have to make sure that they make sure that the company which is collaborating with you is genuine or not, whether the question. So those things are taken up. That does not have to go through the collaborative committee. BIRAC projects do not have to go through collaborative committee. Huh? I don't think so.
If you want to share our data with some international university or center who is working on the same subject, do we need to go through the same process that you have shown?
Yes,
or
we
we
will
have to have a member of understanding as well? Because when I was pursuing in the month of December and January, I got stuck somewhere. Somebody told me, it has to go to ministry. There were some issues of patents and intellectual property rights.
No, sharing data in what way? They want your data. So it's a kind of a joint research collaboration only. You cannot share data without taking permission from the collaboration committee.
That's fine, ma'am. If this is a project, fine. Do we need to have a member of understanding with the other university as well?
Naturally, how are they going to use your data? All those things have to be listed. Why they want this and how the PGI is going to benefit from this, whether it's going to result in a joint publication. If so, what is the role of PGI? Is PGI going to get a good credit? So all these things are considered. Dr. Verma can elaborate a little bit more on this.
I think sharing data and doing research are two entirely different things. You could share data for educational purposes. That's entirely different. But if you want to carry out directed research, you have to have some kind of understanding with your co-investigators. Do you want to call it memorandum of understanding? But there has to be a written document that says what is your responsibility, what is the responsibility of the collaborator, and where would you stand once you are putting your data together. So it may not be called memorandum of understanding in that true terms, but some kind of an agreement where you actually a priori decide as to what are the responsibilities and what would be the outcomes of that particular work. So what we are talking of currently is a collaborative research. Sharing of data, if I have 50 patients, if I want to tell him that this is what I found in those, and it's not resulting in anything, that's something entirely different. But if you are taking all your radiology, and if you want to compare your radiological technique with the technique that is being done elsewhere, and then if you want to actually say what are the outcomes, then this is not sharing of data. This is basically beyond sharing of data. There I think you have to have an agreement, or at least you have to decide what is your responsibility? How would that data? There are other issues. I think there is not enough time. There are issues of confidentiality in patient data, and there are many other things that we can discuss later on. I think we have to most likely keep on thinking about these things and keep on adding, rather than find an answer to everything. The reason why I'm saying that is that we may not be able to answer every question now, but it could be best for you to write down your questions and pass them on to these people so that we can deliberate on them and then take a policy decision. We should not be doing that here, because that will be done at the spur of moment.